Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First, I would like to thank the lecturer of the Population Administration and Environmental Studies course for giving our group the opportunity to present today. I also wish a good morning to all the friends attending class in the morning. I am Hidayah Rosa Putri as the moderator for Group 5 presentation in this session. Our group will be discussing the relationship between the environment and development, as well as environmental pollution and degradation due to development process. Of course, I'm not presenting alone. I'm joined by my fellow group members, Faisal Arif, Salman Al-Farisi, and Ranti Sania Rahmi. The first topic will be presented by Ranti. Ranti, time is yours.
Thank you, moderator. Okay, here I will present the first material, namely environment and development relationship. Development and the environment are two parts that support each other and cannot be separated because there will be no development in human life if there is no supportive environment towards the realization of this development. The interaction between development and the environment from an ecological system called an ecosystem. Development aims to increase the level of life and welfare of the people. Development activities to meet the needs of the population will increase demand for natural resources, resulting in pressure on natural resources. Beautiful green can be one of the supporting factors of a comfortable place to live or housing. In environmental policy strategies and processing system in the hope of formulating an increase in the use of the natural balance of the environment are supporting factor for environmentally sound development. Actually, if natural resources are utilized if only following the needs of each individual, it will have ability to regenerate by itself. Only what happened, the use of natural resources does not pay attention to the carrying capacity of nature. The carrying capacity of nature is the ability of nature to support human survival. The relationship between the environment and development is complex and mutually influencing. Development that does not pay attention to environment aspect will have a negative impact on future generations. Therefore, it is important to apply the principle of sustainable development in every development activity. Next, definition of sustainable development. In Indonesian positive law related to environment, namely Law Number 32 of 2009 concerning environmental protection and management. In Article 1.3 states that sustainable development is a conscious and planned effort that integrates environmental, social, and economic aspects into development strategies to ensure the integrity of the environment as well as the safety, ability, welfare, and quality of life of present and future generations. In the 2005 World Summary Report, sustainable development must be found on three main pillars, namely 1, economy, 2, social, and 3, environment. These three pillars must support each other. Thus, in principle, sustainable development is not only focused on aspect of economic and social development, but also based on aspect of environment protection. Thus, the development of the concept of sustainable development includes the fulfillment of basic needs and the distribution of opportunities to accommodate aspiration for a better life. The United States has officially established the Sustainable Development Agenda, or commonly called the Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs, which appears as a Sustainable Development Agenda in the 2015 2030 period. There are four pillars of SDGs that become the benchmark in implementing the Sustainable Development Agenda, including one, the Social Development Pillar, which is the achievement of the fulfillment of quality basic human rights in a fair and equal manner to improve welfare for the community. Two, the pillar of economic development, namely the achievement of a quality economic growth through sustainable employment and business opportunities, innovation, industry, inclusiveness, adequate infrastructure, partnership, and affordable clean energy. The pillar of environment development, namely the achievement of sustainable management of natural resources and environment as a support for our life. For the pillar of legal development and governance, namely the realization of legal certainty and effective, transparent, accountable, and participate governance to create security, stability, and achieve a state based on law. That's all my presentation of the material. I will return it to the moderator.
Thank you, Ranti. The next topic will be presented by Salman Al-Farisi.
Thank you, Retno. Next, effort to implement sustainable development. Effort to implement sustainable development in population environmental administration can be seen from the following aspect. One, population integration in sustainable development in population is a strategic factor in the framework of sustainable development. Population policies are seen as important in supporting sustainable development, such as anticipating and controlling population to overcome phenomena such as unemployment, poverty, and environmental crisis. Two, population data management. Population data based on the population administration information system is a basic data that can be used to support various purposes, including development planning and crime prevention. The population development profile present from this aggregate data can help in making the right choice in sustainable development. Three, quality population administration service. The KKN thematic admin program conduct by students together with the local government helps realize quality basic service for coastal and inland communities. The process of simplifying the processing of population documents and socializing the importance of population administration by student increase community access to population documents that are the right of every Indonesian citizen. Four, environmental education. Education with an environmental perspective can increase environmental awareness and environmental care behavior. Research show that there is a significant positive correlation between environmental care attitude, environmental care behavior, and knowledge of the education paradigm for sustainable development. This indicates that education for sustainable development can be implemented through education with an environmental perspective. Five, application of sustainable development principles. The application of sustainable development principles based on law number 32 2009 on environmental protection and management can increase the carrying capacity of environment. Effort to increase the carrying capacity of the environment through the application of sustainable development principles are very important to maintain terrestrial ecosystem, including forest and land rehabilitation. Environmental law. Munanjat Danusa Putro defines environmental law as the law that underlies the implementation of protection and management and enhance environmental resilience. The purpose of environmental law lies in regulation the management of the environment in a rational manner and preserving its resource in such a way to prevent depreciation and deterioration of its quality. The substance of environmental law, in terms of its function, contains rules regarding community behavior and its impact on the surrounding environment. Either directly or indirectly, environmental law regulates what it's prohibit and what is allowed to be done by the community. Environmental law is oriented towards the protection and sustainable management of the environment with a focus on community participation and effective supervision. Environmental law is a legal system that regulates and protects the environment, including all objects, forces, conditions, and the living things that affect nature and human welfare. Law number 32 of 2009 on environmental protection and management stipulates that good and healthy environment is a human right of every Indonesian citizen. Such a getting environmental education, access to information, access to participation, and access to justice of fulfilling the right to good and healthy environment. Supervision is carried out by the minister, government, or major with their authority to ensure compliance of the person in charge of business and activities with the provision stipulated and in the law regulation in the field of environmental protection and management. The main objective of environmental law is to protect and manage the environment to keep it healthy and sustainable. This law functions as means of structuring the environment by applying sanction and providing guidance for the community to take action related to the protection of the rights and obligation of the community. Environmental law also emphasizes the importance of community participation in environmental protection and management. Everyone has the right to propose or objects to business plan and activities that are expected to have an impact to environment. Thank you. Back to Retno.
Thank you, Salman. The next topic will be presented by Faisal Arif.
Okay, thank you, moderator. I will continue the presentation about environmental pollution and damage due to development. Pollution and destruction of nature are serious problems that affect the environmental and the sustainability of human life and other living beings. Pollution and natural damage can be caused by various factors such as industrial activities, agriculture, transportation, and domestic waste. Environmental law seeks to address these problems by establishing rules and regulations that limit human activities that have the potential to pollute and damage the environment. Some examples of common pollution and natural damage include number one, air pollution occurs due to exhaust emissions from vehicles, factories, garbage burning, and so on. And number two, water pollution occurs due to the disposal of industrial, agricultural, and domestic waste into rivers and lakes. Number three, soil pollution occurs due to chemical and pesticide waste from industrial and agricultural activities. Number four, forest destruction occurs due to illegal logging and conversion of forest land into agricultural of residential land. To solve the problem of pollution and natural damage, environmental law stipulates several ways to solve it, including number one, environmental license regulation. The government restricts license for activities that have the potential to pollute and damage the environment. Number 2, monitoring and supervision. The government monitor and supervises human activities that have the potential to pollute and damage the environment. Number 3, law enforcement. The government takes action against activities that violate environmental rules and regulation. Number 4, education and socialization. The government socialize the importance of protecting the environment to the community so that they can be actively involved in protecting the environment. Number 5, environmental restoration. The government restores the damaged environment to its original condition. Number 6, use of environmentally friendly technology. The use of environmentally friendly technology can reduce exhaust emission and environmental pollution. In an effort to overcome pollution and natural damage, it is important to cooperate between the government, the community, and business actors in protecting and restoring the environment. Law enforcement effort against those who pollute and damage the environment can be carried out several ways, including number 1, administrative sanctions. In order to protect the environment, the government can impose administrative sanctions to the form of warnings, fines, or revocation of business license to parties who violate environmental laws. Number 2, criminal action. If violation of environmental laws committed by certain parties have seriously damaged the environment, criminal action can be taken in the form of legal prosecution, detention, or imprisonment. Number 3, civil justice. This is done through the courts, in this case, environmental courts, to resolve disputes related to environmental damage and people's right to live in a healthy and decent environment. Number 4 is restitution, effort to restore the damage done by the party that violate environmental law by repairing or restoring the environment to its original condition. And the last, agreement. In law enforcement effort, agreements between the offending party and the government or community can be taken as an alternative to address environmental damage. However, in practice, environmental laws enforcement still face many challenges, such as the lack of human research and technology owned by law enforcement against, and as well as the lack of public awareness of the importance of protecting the environment. Therefore, synergy and collaboration between the government, the community, and the private sector are needed in solving environmental problems and maintaining environmental sustainability for future generations. Okay, next, analyze the impact of development on the environment. The environment has a very influential relationship in development, where the existence of development will cause the existence of impacts, both impacts that will be felt directly or indirectly. Environmental problem can be divided into two categories, namely environmental damage and environmental pollution. The existence of correlation in development will certainly cause benefits and loss. It can be said that the benefit if the development can provide a form of welfare for the community in accordance with the Constitution and Pancasila. However, development also has a negative impact on the environment and has an impact on people's life, such as number 1 is damage to ecosystem. Housing developments, road and industry industrial facilities are often the cause of the damage to the natural habitats of animals and plants. Forests and wetlands and other ecosystems can be destroyed and drastically altered. Number 2 is land degradation. Development can cause desertification, deforestation, and subsidence, often due to deforestation. Number 3 is water and water pollution. The presence of construction and industry often produce toxic gas emission along with particles that can pollute the air. In addition, development also produces chemicals that can pollute soil, water, and river and damage ecosystem. Number 4 is degradation of water quality. Development around water source and water bodies can cause a decrease in water quality. Land erosion and waste from construction can enter the lake and reduce water quality so that it damages the ecosystem. Number 5 is climate change. Any development project that relies on fossil fuels such as power plants of motor vehicles and can increase greenhouse gas emission that can cause climate change. Burning fossil fuels, deforestation, and land conversion to urban areas all contribute to global warming. Okay, I think that's all. Thank you. I'll return to data.
Thank you, Faisal. Alright, everyone. That's the explanation for our group. Next, I will briefly explain the conclusion of our group. Thank you for your attention. Saya Dehrata Saputri will now conclude my presentation.